Hello all and welcome to my channel. I'm Colette and I'm here today from Witch Ways to talk to you about creating a really simple spell that you can carry with you when you are traveling. I hope you enjoy. If you're watching this in real time in the Northern Hemisphere, it's late summer, and summer is often a time that we travel a bit, even if it's just to mountains and lakes and things like that to enjoy ourselves. But fall is on the way, and fall is also often a time that we travel to visit family and friends at holidays, even if those holidays are things you do not celebrate as a witch. Once again, I'm doing the kitten alert. If you hear large crashes, it's my kitten. So I thought it might be really useful to share a very simple travel charm to carry with you. You're going to need some supplies. You'll need some herbs that I'm going to talk about in a minute. You're going to need a charm bag made out of natural fiber, or maybe you want to substitute just a piece of cloth. I like white or red, and some natural fiber cord, yarn, or twine to tie up that bag if you're using cloth. And you're going to need a small dark colored stone. Obsidian is great if you have it and you want to tie it up permanently in a charm, but also any small black rock will do. Where I live, there's a lot of basalt, but even dark river rocks are fine because rivers travel. And you will also need a candle. There are a lot of different herbs that you can use in travel spells, so feel free to adapt this. Any protection herb is always good, but I've added a few other things to touch on some of the other things that might come up while you're traveling, and also some of the protective herbs that I share actually do have a longer association with travel protection. To start your spell, light a red candle if you have one. I always just use beeswax. Blue candle might also be useful if you're traveling by air or over water. I think that would be a good one. And you're going to be mixing about a spoonful or two of each of the herbs that I'm going to mention in a bowl. You're going to grind them up a little bit or mix them up with your hands just to wake them up before you put them in the charm bag. The first herb I'm going to mix into my bowl is rosemary. Rosemary is very protective in clearing. It's my go-to for all kinds of protection. It also helps keep you alert and mentally focused, which can be really helpful when you're traveling, especially if you are driving anywhere. And it also gives you courage and confidence when it's carried in a charm bag. It's also associated with the element of air in some magic, which is one of the reasons why it helps our thoughts stay clear and focused. I also think of it as associated with fire because it's so warming. Rosemary's ruling planet is the sun, which in general, sun herbs are really useful for all things that are expansive and fun and enjoyable, which hopefully that's your traveling experience. And as I mentioned, rosemary is my #1 go-to herb for any kind of protection and clearing, so it's the first one that I'm going to put in the bowl as a base. The next one I'm going to add is yarrow flowers, and if you can get just the flowers, that's ideal, but mostly when you go to the store, what you're going to find is leaf mixed with the flowers, and that is also fine. I slightly prefer the golden flowered yarrow or the yellow flowered yarrow just because that helps with mental focus, and I also want to pull on a little bit of color magic to just bring that warmth and excitement into the charm bag for travel. In reality, it's always easier to find the white flowered ones in stores. So unless you have a friend that has golden yarrow, you're probably not going to find it. Yarrow is also associated with the element of air, probably because of its feathery leaves and general feathery appearance. But I like to think of it as a very sharp blade that cuts through any obstacles in my path. And it's also ruled by the sun, which, as I mentioned before, is really good for traveling. Yarrow also attracts fortitude in the face of difficulties, which certainly can be helpful within the realm of traveling. The next herb that I really like to use is a lot rarer, and I'm going to give a substitute in case you can't find it. You can find it usually online from some of the bigger herb distributors. Sometimes you have to buy it in larger quantities, but I saw it on a company called monkherb.com, and they had small quantities that you could buy, like just a couple ounces. The shipping will probably cost you more than the herb itself. It's pretty commonly called Veronica, and you can buy it as an ornamental and grow it so that you have it, and it's a nice looking plant. And that also works. You just have to take the time to dry it before you put it in a charm bag. But the type that's usually used in herbal magic is a small weedy type that's known as speedwell, and that's what they harvest and sell online. It's associated with the moon, and I've seen it also associated with water. The speed part of this herb's name actually is an older word that means thrive. It's an old term, and so you might want to translate the name of this herb as thrive well, which seems great in travel magic to me. Again, I was taught about this so long ago that I don't remember my source. And I also was taught a long time ago that a more modern interpretation of it is that the name speedwell comes from it growing really rapidly and spreading quickly over the ground, which also seems like a good quality to have when you're traveling. If you can't find speedwell, you can easily substitute thyme. It's not quite the same, but thyme has a magical association with the passing of time, and I think of it as an herb that invokes time well spent, and it's also mildly protective. And the final herb that I put in this charm bag is a single bay leaf. And I like to leave it whole rather than crushing it up or grinding it up with the other herbs. Bay has been used for protection, but it also has a really long history dating back to the Roman era of being used to symbolize success and victory, and the strength to deal with adversity, which is also a good thing when you're traveling. Bay is elementally associated with fire, which brings growth and transformation. And because of victory and success and the protective qualities that are associated with this herb, it ensures that that growth comes in a good way rather than in a difficult way. Bay is also ruled by the sun. So in our spell now, we are calling on planetary associations because we have plants that are ruled by the sun and plants that are ruled by the moon. And these are the two extraterrestrial bodies that are perhaps the most familiar to us as people that live on Earth. And I like that because I think that that creates protection that, you know, lasts through the day and through the night. Now you're going to put each of those herbs in the bowl, name the herb, and ask it in a simple sentence to bring you the qualities that you need for this journey. You can name those qualities if you choose, which is always helpful, but you don't have to. You can just ask the plant to share its qualities that you need while you're journeying. So this is a point where you would wake up the herbs by crushing them or rubbing them in your hand, everything except the bay leaf. I think it's really helpful to hold your intention in mind as you're waking up these herbs and creating the spell. And when you feel ready and you feel like you're done mixing the herbs or waking them up, you can put the rock in the bottom of your spell bag or on your cloth. And it's important to remember that if you are going to be traveling in a car with this particular charm bag, you're going to want to secure it somewhere like the glove box or in a bag, somewhere where it's not going to go flying and hurt someone if you have to stop suddenly. As you're placing the rock in the charm bag, you can ask it to give you its qualities of stability, protection, groundedness to help you in your journey. And if you want, you can also draw a sigil or a small rune on your rock if your rock is big enough. Anything that means protection to you. Then spoon the herbs into the charm bag until it seems like you have enough there for the size cloth or charm bag that you have. Then place the bay leaf on top and tie the charm bag or tie up the piece of cloth with a piece of cord, and then breathe on the charm bag. Set your intention again by speaking it aloud and set it down near your candle. Put your hands on the ground to release any excess energy and let the candle burn all the way out. Then your charm is ready to use. Let me know in the comments if you or your family and friends have any traditions, superstitions, or magic that you do around traveling, or even beliefs. I had a friend who did a lot of international travel, and she believed that there would always be some little glitch when you were traveling, and so she really wanted it to come at the beginning where it could be gotten out of the way so that the rest of her vacation or traveling was really smooth. I wanted to also let you know that I'm going to be doing a pre-recorded Q&A session very soon, so you can start putting your questions in the comments now. I'm also going to post this over on my community page sometime in the next week or so that you can look there and put your questions there. I really appreciate each of you who watch my videos, who comment, who like, who subscribe and share my videos with other people. Thank you so much. Feel free to check out my Patreon page and consider supporting me financially over there. All right, until next time, stay safe and be well.